Good Monday morning to you. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and this is your outlook for December 29th, 2014. We're going to have a cold front that came through yesterday that's going to be sinking off to our south here, and we should stay dry today for the most part. We're going to have, with this front being further south here, areas to the north of that front should be just fine with just partly cloudy skies for most areas. We'll get into mostly cloudy conditions here as you get down across Delaware and extreme southern New Jersey. And you might have a passing shower possibility with this area just south of the front here that will still be be in close enough proximity to the front. There could be a shower that pops up in those areas, but not a big deal here either. Moving forward here is a look at Monday afternoon. You can see this is mostly from D.C. and Dover and points south, so I would not be surprised to see a shower here in a very southern portion of Delaware in our coverage area here, but that should be about it. And then the GFS is still trying to show a possible snow shower here very late overnight Monday night into early Tuesday, but this would be a very woman of prayer type thing, and just a few flurries if it did happen. Here is the NAM, which was previously aggressive, showing all this snow coming up here in this area here. You now see it now. The latest run of the NAM now shows absolutely nothing here, and this is look at the same time frame here on Tuesday. Nothing here in Delaware either. So we've got a few snow showers back here in the mountains of the western half of Virginia and eastern West Virginia. That's about it. Just a few spotty snow showers there, but everywhere else we're just fine and cleared out just nicely. As we get to the next couple days after this point, we're going to go into, here is a look at New Year's Eve, and it will be on the chilly side as we're starting this week here. We've talked about a pattern change coming up here, and we've been talking that for a long time now about it hitting the 29th. Well, today's the 29th. The pattern change is, in fact, occurring on the 29th. So you will definitely feel a big change this week as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and through the end of the week here. Temperatures will be lower, below normal, and normal this time of year temperatures are in the 30s to begin with. So we're talking about if temperatures stuck in the lower 30s, it doesn't quite get that cold for normal highs. So we will be stuck near freezing. It looks like here on Wednesday, in the Wednesday-Thursday time frame, right around our New Year's holiday. So if you are going out that night, obviously the night before, it's going to be very chilly. Make sure you dress appropriately, as it will be cold on New Year's Eve. But a cold and dry, that's the theme here for the next couple of days. And then we get into the weekend here. We're going to be watching this system coming in from the Tennessee Valley. Now, a little bit of a different evolution with this system here. Basically, you have a system that's coming up from the Mississippi Valley. It runs right through the Tennessee Valley. And the GFS is doing something different than the European model, and that's not a shock here. But actually, the models for the last couple of days have been doing pretty much what the GFS is showing here, where there is cold air in place at the onset, so you do get some snow going over to sleet, freezing rain, and then plain rain. This was the GFS's idea of what was going on, but I have a little bit of a problem with this, and the problem was, when I talked about in the Weather Weeklies video that we did, that I did here on Sunday morning. If you didn't see that, there's a lot of cold air in place just prior to the storm coming in here. So models have a tendency of bringing these storms in especially from the south, and would try to cut it right through this cold air, and you really can't do that from a physics standpoint. This doesn't make much sense, especially since it was advecting and the warm air was advecting without precip. So it just didn't make any sense of how this was setting this up. So I'm thinking that the cold air being in place is going to be hard to erode. You're going to have the cold air pushing in from the northwest at the same time the southeast ridge trying to fight back, and you're trying to squeeze a storm right in between the two here. So I'm thinking more of a storm that comes up here like this maybe, and probably redevelops to another system off the coast, and then heads out like this, kind of like a Miller B type situation where it's a redevelopment. One storm setting up the other here, or another one to maybe just an overrunning event. There's going to be some kind of overrunning here, and we're going to be talking about at least some wintry weather next weekend across our coverage area here. So we will get into this as we get a little bit closer, but I don't think what the GFS is showing with this area of low pressure jumping up here and all this warm air running out ahead of it, I just don't see that happening with this cutting that far west. Because it's GFS is trying to slam this in the cold air that's already in place here, and it's just not making much sense. and then see what the GFS does. Is this takes this pretty far inland without it even transferring, and everybody just stays rain here, even up in New England. That just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Now, what today the European model is, I want to put this here. I'll just leave it right here like this. The European model took it up here from the Tennessee Valley further east to a point right about here, okay, and then transferred to another system right off the Delmarva, which then took over as the primary and continue up in this manner here. That is a Miller B storm, that's called, and you had a lot of overrunning snow up in this area here as a result of that in the European model. So that's what we actually think is going to end up happening. And our forecasts have been tailored to include that in the Saturday Sunday time frame of next weekend here. So we'll monitor this for changes, even though the models, some models aren't indicating anything but just a brief snow and ice on the onset going over to rain. We think it could be a little bit more wintry than the models are indicating currently, and we'll watch for those trends over the next couple of days, and of course alert our My Pocket Meteorologist clients if in fact we do think there's a legitimate threat once we get into this work week. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for December 29th, 2014. Have a great Monday.